So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 11 of our F1 Manager 23 series here on the channel. Now we've got some changes to go through with you. We didn't have the greatest week last week and we've started to make some staff changes. Andretti Cadillac, being the American brand, we want to be on the front foot, and we certainly have been because we have got some staff changes incoming. Firstly, we would like to welcome Enrico Cadillac as the new Chief Technical Officer here at Andretti Cadillac, replacing Matt Harmon. Possibly a little bit reflective on Matt Harmon's performance. We haven't quite got the car which we wanted this year, but this guy, he was too good to turn down. He was out of contract and I wanted to get him in the door before anyone else did. He's a fantastic technical chief, 95 rated he is, and he's a 94 rated, sorry, he's a massive upgrade on what we had previously. So Enrico Cadillac, welcome to the team. Gonna straight away be put into action with some of the upgrades, which I'm going to go through in a moment, but obviously massive moving into next season. The other one, it's been well noted, there's been a little bit of a spat between Carel Lewis and Pierre Gasly at a couple of points, and unfortunately I have to bite my driver. Pierre Gasly's been driving well, and Carel Lewis will be leaving us at the end of this season. We haven't made the change now, we have made the change at the end of the season, and having Marcos Pardos is going to be joining the team. So he's going to be joining us from the start of next season as the race engineer. We're excited to have Javi come in and join us. So yeah, we've got some staff changes. We've also got some car changes. Now this is the first time this season that the cars are going to be running at different chassis. Because of the last episode where Esteban Ocon decided to crash his car more times than I have, Esteban Ocon is going to be on the old chassis, whereas Pierre Gasly has been afforded the new chassis, which, as we can see on the right-hand side, makes quite a difference in terms of top speed. So it's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what happens with the difference in performance in the two cars. We should be sorted now for the rest of the season in terms of engines and what we can do. So I'm hoping we're not going to have to take any more grid penalties. And we do head this weekend to Silverstone. I wanted to be on the front foot going into here. It's my home race as a team principal. 52 laps around here. 1950 the first Grand Prix. And if we have a little look, the expected strategy is you can do a one-stop, you can do a two-stop, of course. Car attributes, top speed and acceleration. Will that new chassis on Pierre Gasly's car give him an advantage over some of the other competitors in the field? Just to bring you up to date with the standings on what's happening, Red Bull, it's not looking as comfortable. Aston Martin have been performing well in the last couple of races and got a couple of wins as well. So they've managed to close the gap a little bit. We're on 50 points in P5. We're trying to make up ground on Mercedes. They came together in the last race. We didn't maximise that opportunity. We are a bit wary of these three behind because on the performance index, they are not too far behind us at all. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, it's starting to hot up. Max Verstappen on 214 points from Checo Perez's teammate. Only a little while behind him. And then come the two Aston Martin boys of Stroll and Alonso. Gasly is actually leading in the championship as well. So possibly another reason why he should have the car, the new upgrades on the car. But there's nothing really else apart from that to tell you. We are making upgrades all the time. We are at the moment developing an underfloor front wing and suspension. We'll probably let these run and then develop them again, and then we'll have a really big upgrade package coming in a little while's time. So a lot going on behind the scenes. Obviously we're interested on what's happening on track. I'm going to get through practice and I will see you in qualifying for the British Grand Prix. Final laps in Q2. Esteban Ocon improving. Pierre Gasly not so much. Esteban Ocon comes around the final corner. Does he improve? He does go ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Gasly improves, but not by enough. And both Andretti's will be out in Q2, along with the Williams. 15th for Ocon. It's 12th for Pierre Gasly. There's a couple of grid penalties to be taken at the front. If we just fast forward to the qualifying free results, Verstappen would have been on pole after topping each session, but unfortunately he does have a grid penalty. Perez will therefore be on pole position from Fernando Alonso. Lewis Hamilton, after a disastrous weekend in Austria, he's looking a lot more like it at his home Grand Prix. There's a few grid penalties to be had, but yeah, 12th and 15th. Let's have a look at the strategy. We've got two fresh sets of soft compound tyres. So strategy time now. As you can see, we're going to use the soft compound tyres. We're going to go for the two-stop, but I want to give myself a different option with Esteban Ocon. He's starting a little bit further back, so he's going to be starting on the medium compounder tyre, then going on to the softs. I do want to notice whether the one stop might be an option for Esteban Ocon, depending on safety cars. So something a little bit different with Esteban. Pierre Gasly is on the standard 2-stop. So difference in strategies. Hopefully we can pick up some points. Let's get to 5 red lights for the British Grand Prix.
The British Grand Prix is nearly upon us. The drivers composing themselves on the grid ahead of 52 laps around Silverstone. Could this be a big race for that man, Alexander Albon?
Fighting for points is definitely possible from P8. The team just needs to get their strategy right.
Right, let's get to it then. Anticipation is high, and the drivers are ready for this. The British Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go. Checo Perez leads us away, but we are going to ride on board with Pierre Gasly straight off the button here, because we are hoping Pierre Gasly, he's up against Max Verstappen in fairness to him, and to be fair, he's looking like he's going to attack the Red Bull driver. It's a decent start from Pierre Gasly. I don't want to be overly aggressive on these opening laps. We did see with Esteban Ocon when they were aggressive on the overtakes, the damage that could cause. I want us to get into this race. I want us to build into this race. As Esteban Ocon, there's a Haas at the back, and let's have a little look. Esteban Ocon looked like he were involved in that for a moment, and let's have a little look at this. Nico Hülkenberg, Gunther Steiner will not be happy with this. It is Esteban Ocon, and Esteban Ocon does exceptionally well to avoid that crash. My word, have we seen a better instance of avoidance driving there? What a bit of driving from Esteban Ocon to keep the Andretti out of a chaotic crash that would definitely have finished his Grand Prix. But as we settle in, it's Perez from Hamilton who's up in P2, Alonso in P3, then comes Stroll, Leclerc, Magnussen in the Haas in P6. The Williams have looked rapid this weekend in P7 and P8 for Zhou and Albon. Russell's in P9, Verstappen P10, and Pierre Gasly holding on in P11 to that very fast Red Bull. It's took until lap 6, but Pierre Gasly has managed to get past the Williams of Zhou Guanyu, managing to do it out of the DRS straight. Very interesting point to make. We'd got the DRS on a few occasions, and because that Williams is so bloody quick in a straight line, we struggled to get past him. But Pierre Gasly now has been released. I'm sure Zhou might get him back, to be fair. Esteban Ocon's tagging onto the back of Lando Norris, prompting questions of whether a one-stop could be an option, especially with the tyre wear. Esteban Ocon is managing the tyres better than most of the grid at this moment in time. So Esteban Ocon, the one-stop could definitely be on. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly is trying to chase after George Russell, but at the moment, he's under pressure from Zhou Guanyu. I don't want him to lose too much time to the Chinese driver, but if he can pull us up to the back of Russell, who seems to be struggling with Magnussen, we could be in the money. Lap 6. And Esteban Ocon is driving a decent race. Obviously, he's got that lesser chassis. He's got a Ferrari stalking him, which he can't be enjoying. But Esteban Ocon getting past Lando Norris round the same sort of corner, which Pierre Gasly managed to get the job done. You can see Gasly in front of Zhou Guanyu in front, and Pierre Gasly has nearly caught Kevin Magnussen at this moment in time. So Pierre Gasly is now starting to fire on the soft compound tyre. You get rhymes here as well as F1 commentary. But Pierre Gasly is now back in the DRS of Kevin Magnussen. That's a great bit of driving. If he could just get in that DRS, that's going to help his race a lot, especially when he's got Zhou Guanyu behind him and also Esteban Ocon just charging along. We are thinking now, by the way, that we are going to switch Ocon onto the one-stop strategy. Ocon is going to be doing a one-stop race here at Silverstone. And we see it here, Pierre Gasly, this time not as complex. DRS past Kevin Magnussen. He's got the tyres in the optimal window now. Doesn't give him a whole lot of room, but doesn't have to, because by the time he gets onto the start-finish straight, Pierre Gasly has got that job done, and he's up into P9 and will now look to chase down the Mercedes of George Russell. Doing very well on tyres as well is Pierre Gasly. We're keeping an eye on this little battle because Carlos Sainz is going to be coming through at a rate of knots. I believe he's on the medium compounder tyre as well. So Carlos Sainz burning his tyres up a little bit. He's having to get past the slower traffic, but the longer Ocon can keep him behind, it will help Pierre Gasly, but it might help him as well because he can tag on to the DRS of the Ferrari. But let's have a look as we watch it live. Carlos Sainz gets the job done. And by the time he gets into this next right-hander, he's past Pierre Gasly and up into 12th place. But Gasly will be doing his utmost to chase after Russell. We think we've found a nice little gap to get Pierre Gasly out into. We reckon it's around 22 seconds for a pit stop. And we are going for the undercut. He's been really pushing to get ahead of Mick Schumacher. And I'm hoping that he's going to be able here to get out in front of the Audi driver. And if he does, he's going to have fresh medium compound tyres to go out on. It could work an absolute treat. We hope there's no issues from the pit crew. And I had to say it, didn't I? It's a 4.6 second stop. And that is not good enough because, to be fair, before this race, the guys have probably been the most rested that they've ever been. And Pierre Gasly has just lost a ton of time. He's still going to come out in clean air. But that is a disaster for Pierre Gasly. It could have been a lot worse, but my God, not what Pierre Gasly needed. He's got to get these tyres up to temperature. Maybe we're just being a bit risk-averse, just keeping Esteban Ocon on a one-stop. Lap 17, Verstappen now in the lead, but yet to pit. But what won't have harmed Pierre Gasly's race is Kevin Magnussen doing this. Let's keep an eye on this little lock-up here. He locks up into the final couple of... No, not the final couple of corners, into the double right-hander. And Kevin Magnussen losing a lot of time there, which is going to aid Pierre Gasly, who's now on the back of the McLaren of Oscar Piastri, and he will get a helping of DRS here. What is Pierre Gasly on? He's on the medium tyre, is Oscar Piastri. So it's going to be very interesting to see how easy it is for Gasly to get past him. Lap 19. And on lap 19, Pierre Gasly did get past Oscar Piastri with the help of DRS down the inside. He's got the much fresher tyres, and Pierre Gasly is starting to make moves in these medium compounded tyre. Piastri did put up as much resistance as he possibly could. Couldn't quite defend as he wanted to, and now Pierre is in P15, and he's got 1.6 seconds to, I believe that's Bottas in front of him. Albon's already pit, I believe, if we just check the pit stops. Albon, Leclerc have pit, as has Alonso. So how far is he behind Albon? He is 8 seconds, basically, behind Albon. So he's got a lot of catching to do there. Esteban Ocon at the moment, he's leading a little train. He's got Alonso, Norris and Leclerc. And to be fair, he's really hurting Fernando Alonso's race here, is Esteban Ocon. But he's playing it smart for a safety car as Bottas pits and once again releases Gasly into clean air. Is it coming to us here on lap 20? We come back, lap 23. We can see Albon's just overtaken Ocon. But Kevin Magnussen is in the pit lane. Now, remember, we were fighting with Kevin Magnussen for Pierre Gasly. And Pierre Gasly is going to be miles past him. Is he also going to be miles in front of Zhou Guanyu as well? I would suggest he is. And Pierre Gasly up into P12. Now only 7 seconds behind his teammate. And this is going very, very well indeed for Pierre Gasly. As Zhou Guanyu comes out, as does Kevin Magnussen. And by the time they do, Pierre Gasly is motoring down the big straight here at Silverstone. So Pierre Gasly played a blinder there with the undercut. We'll try and do that again. Ocon is doing his utmost to try and hold on to the back of Alexander Albon. He's joining his bike. Zhou Guanyu locking up in P12 on the hard compounded tyre. Decided to do this. Screeching into the gravel trap there is Zhou Guanyu. He's got a fair few cars going past him as well. Esteban Ocon boxing this lap. He's done a fantastic first stint on that medium compounded tyre. When I saw the yellow flag, I thought maybe all my Christmases had come at once, hoping that he was going to be able to get a safety car. Sadly, that's not been the case. He's going to come out just in front of Valtteri Bottas. And as you can see, Pierre Gasly is behind him. Pierre Gasly's actually got George Russell for company at this moment in time. So this may help his teammates as well, but we'll come back in a little moment when Esteban is into the pit. And into the pits comes Esteban Ocon. We're just going to keep a little eye on this. Pierre Gasly looks like he's got that covered off into the final couple of corners. But yeah, Ocon, fantastic work from him. He's done very, very well there, to be fair, in that stint. Gasly's now back up into P9. He has still got another stop to make as Pierre Gasly. He's going to be on to the soft compounder tyre again at the end. It's not a great pit stop, 2.8 seconds, but it should secure him out in front of Valtteri Bottas, who we're keeping an eye on as he's coming around the final couple of corners. He's going to get out in front of him. Where is Zhou Guanyu? Zhou Guanyu is out in front of him. Ocon coming out of the pits. Bottas well behind. Ocon into a nice bit of clean air and has completed his pit stop strategy as we're pushing on the tyres to get them back warmed up. But Pierre Gasly fighting with George Russell, who is on the hard compounder tyre. This may not harm his race if Russell gets past him, lap 28. Just to bring you back on lap 31, Max Verstappen is leading the way. Checo Perez is the first one to make his second pit stop here on lap 31. He's gone on to another set of medium compounder tyres as Checo Perez. Verstappen yet to pit, so he's got another one to make. If we just have a little look at who's left, Stroll, Hamilton and Sainz are going to the end. Leclerc, Alonso and Verstappen have got to pit. Albon is dying on his tyres at the moment. It's Alexander Albon. We should start to catch him at a rate of knots, really. Russell in P9, Gasly P10. Behind us, we've got Magnussen, Norris, Zhou and Ocon, who are all going towards the end. The guys at the back of out of it. We could score some points here today, but Pierre Gasly needs a better bloody pit stop than he got last time. I'll tell you that for nothing. Lap 35, Esteban Ocon starting to make some moves on the hard compounder tyre. He got the Hugo Boss car of Daniel Ricciardo in front of him into the final chicane, and he got the job done beautifully well. Ricciardo kept it round the inside, but Esteban Ocon getting the move done. He's now up in to P15, just conserving a little bit of fuel. In fact, he doesn't need to do that now, so he's all good. Pierre Gasly has been pushing on these tyres like you've never seen for this last few laps, trying to make up as much of a gap as he can. Remember, he's got a 22-second pit stop to make. That's going to bring him out on, what, 59, 1 minute. He could get out in just behind Valtteri Bottas at this moment, but he's going to be on the soft compounder tyre. A lot of other guys opting for the medium. So Pierre Gasly, I would expect to be rather quick towards the end of this Grand Prix, lap 36. Pierre Gasly has been giving it the absolute beans on that in lap to try and get out in front of Daniel Ricciardo in P15. This is the moment for Pierre Gasly. Let's have a little look at how this all plays out for him. He had a bad first pit stop. Is he going to get a bad second one? My God, I hope he doesn't, because this could be crucial in terms of points this afternoon. We get the overhead view. It looks better, it looks better, it looks better. It's a 2.8 second stop. It's not bad at all. Pierre Gasly is out as Carol Lewis better enjoy these last few races, because he's not going to have any races for Andretti Cadillac next season. Let's have a look where he comes out. Zhou Guanyu is there. Esteban Ocon is there. And Pierre Gasly comes out behind Esteban Ocon. He's got to get these tyres warmed up. But now it is time for Pierre Gasly to get past his teammate and get on with this race. 15 laps to go. Gasly on the charge. Lap 39. Here we go then, boys and girls. Esteban Ocon is being told to just let his teammate pass. I don't want him to move out to the side. What I would like him to possibly do is down this next DRS straight, give his teammate DRS, and then he can hopefully bomb on past him. Let's have a little look how this plays out from Pierre Gasly's point of view. He's going to get DRS. He moves to the inside, and Esteban Ocon is not going to fight it. It's almost as though it were coordinated, and Pierre Gasly is past his teammate up into P12, and now Ocon will be told, do not fight your teammate. Just stick behind him for as long as you possibly can and let him basically drag you along, because if he can do that, it's going to help both their races. Lap 40, Gasly back in front, and we've got a few cars in front, namely Alonso has got to make another stop. Maybe Albon hasn't, but Pierre Gasly, how far has he got to catch? He's got 8 seconds to catch Magnussen and Norris. He's got a lot of work to do here. At the front, lap 42, Max Verstappen pitting onto the soft compounder tyre. Where is he going to come out in terms of this race? Let's have a little look. Fernando Alonso's just pit again. Just to bring you up to date on that, he's got Pierre Gasly behind him. I'm hoping Pierre Gasly can tag onto the back of Alonso, to be fair. Verstappen still trundling down the pit lane. Where is Carlos Sainz coming around the final corner? Verstappen's going to come out behind Sainz, but crucially in front of Lewis Hamilton. A decent distance in front of Lewis Hamilton to stop him punting him into any walls like he likes to do normally at Silverstone. But Gasly now on the back of Fernando Alonso. Hopefully these two can work together, and already they are closing the gap on Magnussen and Norris like you've never seen, as Pierre Gasly is going for the move on Fernando Alonso. I'd rather, to be fair, use the Aston Martin's pace, but since he's here, why not? Pierre Gasly on the inside, still just about holding it. It's side by side, Alonso and Gasly. Who is going to come out on top in this? I think it may be the Aston Martin, but it might not be the worst thing, because as he does, Pierre Gasly should get DRS down the next DRS straight. And as we take this second left-hander here, he is going to get DRS, and that's going to work a treat for him, because now that Aston Martin can drag him all the way down. And on lap 42, these two are on the charge. And on lap 45, Pierre Gasly managed to get past Kevin Magnussen. These two cars are particularly slow compared to Pierre Gasly at the moment. And Pierre Gasly done a fantastic job of getting past Magnussen. He's into second in the train now. He's only got Lando Norris to pass. And now, as you can see, he's looking like he's going to go for it. Let's have a look at how this all plays out from the TV camera. Oh, we're going to get another overtake live as we go through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, we're going to get this. We've got a DRS straight coming up, and I think this is going to be the moment. Pierre Gasly pulling to the left-hand side. DRS wide open. Pierre Gasly around the outside of Lando Norris has got the job done. And that is fantastic work. He's up into P10. Is there anybody in front that we're going to catch? Possibly not. I'd expect him to get away from these two guys pretty quickly now. Esteban Ocon, I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up to these guys. We're going to give him every opportunity now to try and catch up to K-Mag, because if he can get up to him, we would be laughing. But Pierre Gasly is past and up into the point. Lap 49, we bring you back, and there's only really now one big battle on circuit, and that battle is for the third place on the podium, because it's a battle between Sainz, Perez and Leclerc. It's Red Bull versus two Ferraris. And at the moment, let's have a little look at what's happening tyre-wise. We've got Sainz on hards, Perez on mediums, and Leclerc's on softs. So one of them is going to get the podium. Who is your money on? Let me know down in the comments. I think I would be going for Checo Perez. He's in second in the training, that Red Bull. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Pierre Gasly has pulled away at this moment in time. He's in P10. He's a fair distance behind Fernando Alonso, but he's comfortably in front of Norris and Magnussen. We've been having a look to see if we could get Ocon closer to the two guys in front, but at the moment, it's not really that much of a problem. I think P13 is the maximum for Esteban today, but Pierre Gasly is going to get a point, but who's going to finish on the podium? So this is it, last lap of the Grand Prix. It's two Ferraris against the Red Bull for the final step on the podium here at Silverstone. Let's just bring you up to date with everything else. Pierre Gasly's in P10. The race is done for him. He's going to score a point for Andretti Cadillac. Esteban Ocon's in P13. That is the maximum for him today. But this is the crucial battle. We've got Sainz on worn hards. We've got Perez on worn mediums. And Leclerc on slightly better Nick softs. Who is going to finish in P3? My money's on Leclerc. I'm thinking this could be a big, big moment for the Red Bull driver, but at the moment Carlos Sainz is just doing enough to manage this battle. If Carlos Sainz manages to win this little battle, get to P3 on the podium on these hard compound tyres, he deserves all the credit. But Checo Perez will be thinking, as will Charles Leclerc, I'm going to get one more DRS zone to get this podium. As we go through Maggots and Beckett's, is he going to manage to hold on to it? We're going to have a little ride on board from Checo Perez's point of view, because he's got the DRS wide open. Carlos Sainz giving it absolutely everything to try and defend Leclerc, looking to get in on the action as well. It's still between Sainz and Perez for P3 there, side by side, coming into the final chicane. Who is going to get P3 on the podium? Sainz is going to have the inside line. He forces Perez practically onto the gravel. Carlos Sainz comes around the final corner and gets P3. It's Sainz in third, Perez P4, Leclerc in P5. What a battle on the last lap that is for the podium. And that is one hell of a result for Ferrari, getting P3. Max Verstappen absolutely bossing proceedings. Gasly's going to come home in P10. Ocon in P13. As we just skip this on towards the end, we'll see Pierre Gasly come across the line. It's been a decent result for him today, running the new chassis. We've got to be a little bit optimistic about that, but one thing to note is the Williams have had fantastic pace this weekend. But all being said, it's not a bad job. Let's get to the podium.
Yuki Tsunoda makes his way back after the events of that race.
A 14th place finish today, no points and lots to think about.
And no doubt, Verstappen fans will be celebrating the Dutchman's achievement.
Taking their 8th win of the season, there's just no stopping them.
Max Verstappen back on the top step once again. Lance Stroll keeping his good form going. And Carlos Sainz, as we saw in that epic battle at the end, managing to hold on to P3 here at Silverstone. It was a fantastic race. Verstappen, very, very well driven. 9 places gained. Sainz and Stroll as well. Fantastic work from them. Pierre Gasly gained 1 position, but that 1 position was enough to get him a championship point. Magnussen dropped for Esteban Ocon in P13. All the way at the back was Mick Schumacher in the Audi Sport Car, with Nico Hülkenberg in P19. Driver standings-wise, Max Verstappen extends his lead at the top of the championship to 47 points from Checo Perez. Lance Stroll scores 18 points again. Great work from him. Fernando Alonso in P4. Gasly drops a position to Lewis Hamilton, who scored very well at his home Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon scoring no points will be rather disappointed. Constructor standings-wise, Red Bull are now 135 points in front of Aston Martin. Ferrari in P3, Mercedes P4, and Williams are just creeping up on us that little bit more. Hope you've enjoyed that one. My word, did we have an excellent battle towards the end. We're making staff changes. We're looking towards next season a little bit as well now. The changes we are making, I think, are going to make us a very strong force next year if Andretti decide to renew our contract. Please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one. Ta-ra!